Hey, how about a mind bender today? I'm reading Swami Vivekananda some more, and actually I read this before in Sri Nisargadatta's book, I Am That. It has always been a great battery for thinking, just for contemplating, to think, how in the world can this be true? So let me read this to you. He says it's actually in a book or a collection of his works called Inspired Talks, which took place in 1895 in a house up in Thousand Island Park up in upstate New York, just on the Canadian border, when Swami Vivekananda came to the United States that long ago. And he was teaching just a small number of people who were interested in this kind of thing and talking about it, and someone there actually wrote it down. And here is what they reported. Cause and effect are all an illusion, and we shall grow to understand that all we see is as disconnected as the child's fairy tales now seem to us. There is really no such thing as cause and effect, and we shall come to know it. Then, if you can, lower your intellect to let any allegory pass through your mind without questioning about connection. Develop love of imagery and beautiful poetry, and then enjoy all the mythologies as poetry. Come not to mythology with the ideas of history and reasoning. Let it flow as a current through your mind. Let it be whirled as a candle before your eyes, without asking who holds the candle, and you will get the circle. The residuum of truth will remain in your mind. The writers of all mythologies wrote in symbols of what they saw and of what they heard. They painted flowing pictures. Do not try to pick out the themes and so destroy the pictures. Take them as they are and let them act on you. Judge them only by the effect and get the good out of them. Just some wonderful little pieces in there, just turning this experience of life into art. He's talking about the fact that there is only this present moment. We talk about that so much, and yet how do we believe that? How do we know that? How do we come to experience life like that? But that's the entire Buddhist practice of living in the moment, seeing the I am, this present moment coming alive. And this idea, Sri Nisargadatta says, that, that there is only this moment, that it's the mind that creates this sense of past and future on either side as bookends, because the mind records the present moment and then plays it back in the present and shows the difference, and we see change. And the mind invents cause and effect to create a story that gives it a linear meaning and gives your sense of ego, which is unreal, a sense of stability and existence, when there has only ever been now. That's an obvious thing, you think about it. And he says, let this change come over your mind. Once you embrace the present moment as the thing, and you are fully aware of it, he says, then you can see the poetry of all the world's mythologies. That as you read through the stories of the Mahabharata or the Ulysses, the Odyssey, all of these great wisdom tales from the past, he says, abandon the idea of reason, abandon the idea of history, abandon the idea of some coherent, linear, logical story, and let them wash through you and see what's left in the mind. How are you changed? What ideas remain within you? How are you inspired and touched by these things? That way life becomes this communication, becomes this open secret between you and, what shall we call it, divinity? That sense of inspiration, that sense of what writes poetry and creates art and writes songs and engages us in novels and stories. That life becomes full of that inspiration, that being becomes full of that richness. Throw off flows of reason that bring us to despair and meaninglessness and emptiness. Live in the world of poetry. Live in the present moment. Let go the sense of duty and let inspiration be your guide. Fly. Don't be driven by life. Have fun with them. Life can be so rich. Life can be so beautiful if you can break the tedium of that delusion.